Hey guys, if you haven't already, give the video a like, subscribe to my channel. This is a what if series and I'll be doing more down the road. Plus Ultra!
Yeah. I know. Naruto. What if Goku landed in Fairy Tail and what if Goku landed in Naruto? When is that gonna come out? It's gonna be coming out, but it's just so much other fun things to talk about. But I'm gonna get back to that one right after I release this one. So I know this by doing this messed up my scheduling. Yeah, I know. Anyway, without any further ado, let's get into the topic of what I want to talk about. So, what if Naruto was Vegito's reincarnation? It's like I want to keep the channel fresh and I want to keep you guys coming back to see what other ideas and what other good ideas to that I'm implementing on the channel. And this particular idea can be something worth being fun to hear and very exciting because I like Vegito. I like Vegito as a whole, and this could be potentially a fucking very strong character in this series going out. So I think this would stretch out to 10 parts, basically, possibly more than that, if I feel like I want to continue it. But let's just see how this goes. If you guys like this series and you want another part, you know how to show love to the series. Just smash the like button, get those likes up there, and I will release another part in the near future. Or I'll release a part sometime, like, say, for example, if you reach a certain point, if you keep constantly asking me about it, it's going to come out. Anyway, so we start off the story with Naruto being born, and he's obviously gonna have the Vegito hairstyle and all that kind of stuff. But he's just gonna be basically sleeping, not crying while all this stuff's going on. But you already know how the story with Minato, Kushina, and all that kind of stuff goes on, because nothing really changes much. So the only thing that changes much is that Naruto is the reincarnation of this particular character. So now we get into the part where Naruto is like 6 years old, let's say 6 years old, and these villagers are surrounding him. But Naruto's not fumbling, he's not scared, he's not losing confidence or nothing like that. He just looks at them and says, "You all are not that strong. If you get in my way, I'm gonna knock you down without any hesitation." And the villagers and the tuning ninjas say, "You're a nine-tails demon brat. What can you do to us?" And this is when Naruto would be right behind him and kick the tuning in the back, and the tuning would fly on the ground. And he said, "That's what I'll do to you. You don't even have enough power to stand up to me. So get lost, loser." As Naruto turns and walks away. This would make all the people charge at Naruto, trying to get him, pin him down, or beat him. And Naruto would just body each and every one of them. I'm talking about sending punches, blows, flickering his ki. It just all of the people who are on the ground, he left one person standing, and then he looked at them and said, "Well, do you want to dance too? Because I'll be happy to have a party with you." And this is where the girl or the woman would say, "No, I'm okay." So Naruto would continue his day on, and this is when Naruto would be training with a various amounts of people just to get his skills up there. But Naruto has an abnormal amount of strength within him. I mean, this kid had some power. Even when he was a baby, we do a little flashback as when Naruto was a baby and the nurses were taking care of Naruto, and the Hokage would come in to just see how Naruto's doing. He would get down there just to play with Naruto, but the Naruto would send a ferocious kick to the Hokage's face, sending him flying through a bunch of walls. The Hokage would look up at Naruto, and this is when Naruto would just be laughing, and the nurses would have a sweat drop from their face and say that this kid is not normal. He has some insane amounts of strength for even a baby. So just imagine how he is now that he's 7 years old. So now that we do time skip to where Naruto and Sasuke first fought each other, well, flashback because I know they were younger than the age I was giving them, or possibly not. Remind me in the comments, but let's keep it as the regular 7 years old. I think that's the age. Probably was younger than that. But this is where Naruto would be in a battle. He'd be jumping around, and most of the girls in the classroom would be cheering Sasuke, and Naruto would be like, "Why are you cheering this guy when he's about to lose? That don't make sense to me. Are you even strong enough to defeat me, Sasuke?" And this is where Sasuke, with his cocky grin and cocky face, because Sasuke possibly thinks he has the power to beat Naruto because he doesn't even know much about Naruto. All he's heard is that Naruto is has some insane, abnormal amounts of strength within him. So the same thing happens, but this time when they both run at each other, and Sasuke's on the ground with Naruto standing over, well, Naruto kneeling over him with a fist in his hand, well, basically like a keyblade. Vegito's Kion was sword, like light sword. That's what we're gonna call it. And he'll be standing over Sasuke, and this is where Naruto would look at Sasuke and say, "Well, looks like you lost. I told you he was gonna lose." Some of the fangirls would get mad and say, "What did you do to Sasuke? You cheated! You cheated!" And this is where he would look at Iruka Sensei and say, "You lost. I won." Then Naruto would go back off and do his own thing, and then Iruka Sensei would call on to the next two pairs to fight. Over the years, Naruto has been training, and he's been learning different kind of attacks, learning different kinds of what he can do. Since this kind of Naruto, he doesn't really have chakra, so the only thing he has is ki. So Naruto would create ki blast, getting very used to his ki and how to manipulate it, how to use it to his own free will. Naruto creates, well, learns how to fly. Basically, just for a little bit, as he can't handle it too much with his young body, as he needs to grow up a little bit. But by the time he gets to 12 years old, he should be able to handle it. Because Naruto at this moment in time is like 9 right now. So he spends all throughout the years when from 8 to 9 years old training his body, training his ki. And he comes up with a very similar techniques, naming them of his own. See, these thoughts and everything flood through his mind. And he comes up with the name Final Flash Kamehameha. He comes up with a Big Bang attack. He comes up with Final Shine. He comes up with Supernova attacks. So right now Naruto's coming up with some of these attacks and how to make them stronger. And let's say one day Naruto made a mistake. See, he still has his tail, but one day Naruto had got excited that he finally managed to combine. See, this took him weeks. I mean, weeks, let alone months, to combine these two attacks because it was so taxing on his body. You see, Naruto had combined the final Kamehameha, the final flash with the Kamehameha, and he combined them both together. Now, he's been trying to do that for a long time, but the energy would always disperse everywhere and cause him trouble. And Naruto would just smile and say, "You know what? I'm going to get this, and I'm going to get this. I'm going to keep on trying until I get this." And one day Naruto would say, "Final Kamehameha," and send out a burst of blue, yellow, swirl-like energy. And he would shoot it up towards the sky, not knowing that the full moon was out, and blew up the moon. This is when Naruto would first like blow up the moon, and he'd know what his strength is capable of. And Naruto would just simply say, "Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I hope I'm not going to get in trouble for that," as most people throughout the world would hear a loud boom. And most people throughout the ninja world would notice that the moon just got blown up, as there was no more moon. And this would unseal some particular characters. But let's just say when Naruto blew up the moon, because we now know that someone was living on the moon, such as an Otsutsuki. Let's say that 2 days later, the moon would be restored, and people wouldn't know how, but let's just say the moon is back now. And Naruto would be like scratching his head and said, "I thought I blew that thing up. Oh well, at least it's back, and I won't be able to get in trouble." So Naruto just smiles and walk away from it. So now we cut to the part where Naruto saw, well, in Naruto's new age is now at 12 years old. Iruka would call Naruto to the front stand, and this is where Naruto, with his cocky face and grin, well, cockiness would show, since he's a both mixture, well, he's Vegito, and Vegito has a mouth on him. And Naruto would point out and say that, "Well, I noticed that some of you use chakra. I don't have chakra. I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to basically channel it. All I know is that I can use this power, so-called ki. And I can tell you right now that I'm stronger than most of you in here. And I can outbest any of the top classmen in here, no matter how much prep time you think you have. That includes you, Shikamaru." And Shikamaru would just say, "What a drag. I wouldn't even try to fight you, Naruto, as I know how strong you are. You basically showed me that the first day we went playing tag, as you took it too serious. You took it as a challenge. Neither of us could catch you, and nor could we get away from you. So having you play tag with us was like a one-sided fight with a Jonin and a Genin who just graduated." Naruto would show off some of his skills, such as the after image attack, and this would basically his way of doing the clone jutsu, and Naruto would show off basically another similar attack as creating a key orb in his hand and saying, "This ball of energy, I feel if I had this right here, with the flick of my fingers, I could basically destroy a whole village if I wanted to, with just this ball or the flick of my fingers." Basically making the ground rupture upon itself and making everything collapse. And this is where some of the kids in class, well, Ruka would pass Naruto, obviously, because Naruto was very intellectual, very a strategist, and some people would call Naruto the beginning, well, the beginning genius, like a battle smart genius at the age of 12 years old. See, the third Hokage would often battle against Naruto. He lost. Even Guy Sensei would battle against Naruto. He would even go to his most strongest form. Now, I'm not going to OP Naruto, but it's only expected. But he would go to his fifth form, like open the fifth gate, and later stating that even open the seventh or any other gate beyond that. Even opening the seventh gate, let's not go to the eighth gate of death. But let's say if he would have went any way beyond that, it would have proven worthless. As to Naruto's power is basically insane. They don't understand it. So the three of them would get assigned to a team with Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke. And this is where Sakura would be complaining about being on the same team with Naruto, but be happy that she's on the team with her romantic lover. Anyway, so the teams would get assigned to their Jonin captain, being Kakashi Sensei, and they would all go to the roof to tell their goals. Naruto would go first, saying that he wants to become the strongest ninja ever for specific reasons, because he just wants to battle strong people, and possibly that's it. He has nothing else. He just wants to fight someone who can possibly give him a match and make him go all out. So we now get into this part where the team has told their ambitions. You already know Sasuke's and you already know Sakura's being the uselessness that it is. So Kakashi tells the team, "I hate you all, and meet me at the training field tomorrow. We're going to start your first Genin exam. Don't eat or you'll puke." And he would poof away. So now we time skip to the training field with Naruto already there. As he didn't waste any time, he's doing his stretches and all that kind of stuff. And Naruto would be in the Vegito style gi that you all know and love. The blue, the orange shirt, the orange inner shirt, the shoes, and the gloves. Just imagine a kid version of Gogeta. Well, not Gogeta, Vegito. Sorry about that misinconvenience. Anyway, so now we're on the field with Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto. And Naruto's basically stretching, with Sasuke basically just doing his own thing, doing a few techniques, or just training, basically just exercising a little bit, or just sitting down mostly. And Sakura is just having hard eyes, just looking at Sasuke, wondering what would happen if she just kissed him. Anyway, so with all that being said, Kakashi poofs out of nowhere and says, "Hi there. Sorry I'm late. I was on the path of life. Anyway, are you ready to begin?" So Sakura would step up and say, "Kakashi Sensei, so what's our test for today?" "Okay, I will tell you. You all have to manage to get these two bells off my waist. If you can do that, then you pass." But then Naruto would state, "Wait, so correct me if I'm wrong, it's only two bells. How are all three of us going to pass if there's only two?" And this is where Kakashi would glance at Naruto and say, "Figure it out." So this is where Naruto would get into a battle stance, and he would say, "Kakashi Sensei, here's the thing I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to take those bells from you, but I want to test out your skill and power. So I'd advise you to put that book down, as if you don't, I'm going to punch you in the face." And Kakashi Sensei, well, I'm not going to keep saying Sensei, but Kakashi would look at Naruto and basically smile and say, "Naruto, if you can manage to do that, I will even lift up my headband for you." And before he could even say lift, Naruto was right there in Kakashi's face, punched him, and it would be the same way like how Vegito punched Zamasu and kicked him in the ground, basically having his head skied across the ground or something like that. Kakashi would be shocked that this boy can even do that, and he just got two hard blows on Kakashi, and Kakashi feels staggered by this, but gets back up and says, he closes his book and says he has to take this guy serious, as those two hits really did rock Kakashi's world. Naruto's smiling and jumping around, and he's cocky. Naruto looks at Kakashi and does the little hand gesture that Vegito did to Super Buu. Basically, hand gesturing him saying, "Come on, let me see what you got." what you, and Kakashi would feel a vein in his head saying, are you cocky? Do you really think you can beat me, a mere guinea? So Kakashi would rush at Naruto. He hasn't even lifted up his headband yet, but he wants to test and see if Naruto is basically as strong as they say he is. So as they're fighting each other, Naruto is basically using only his legs. Basically, Kakashi is using his kunai, using all kinds of attacks, using kicks, punches, trying to do everything in his arsenal to hit Naruto. But Naruto is just sensing everything that Kakashi has to throw at him. I mean, it's so easy that Naruto basically yawns and pretends to fall asleep on Kakashi. And in an instant, Kakashi tries to do that little 1,000 years of death tactic, trying to basically throw Naruto off or trying to just get Naruto off balance with that attack so that he can use any other attacks. With this, Naruto basically catches Kakashi's hand and punches him in the stomach, and you see the whole punch through the stomach animation going to happen with Kakashi's eyes basically spinning in the back of his head. Naruto would kick Kakashi through a bunch of trees, and Kakashi would come back only to reveal that it was a substitution. But Naruto later knew this, and this is where Naruto would fire 2 or 3 ki blasts that would form a huge circle and wrap around Kakashi, basically holding Kakashi in place. Naruto would charge ki around his fist and punch Kakashi dead in the face, sending him tumbling and skip rocking across the terrain. Now Kakashi is getting serious. Now he lifts up his headband, and this is where Kakashi is using the Sharingan. Now these two would get into a thunderous battle with each other, with Naruto still having the upper hand. I mean, Kakashi can see some of his attacks coming and is able to sorry for stuttering. And is able to dodge some of the attacks that are coming his way. I'm talking about Kakashi with that Sharingan is able to dodge, but just barely. I'm talking about just barely. I can't even state that enough. And this is where Naruto would smile at Kakashi and kick him towards the ground and say, that eye of yours can basically see my attacks, but what happens if those attacks are faster than the eye can see? And Kakashi would a sweat drop off his face as Naruto is just stating, anyway, Kakashi Sensei, you were strong. I was only using 25% of my power, but that was an interesting battle nonetheless. I hope we can fight again someday. And this is where Naruto would say, here's Sasuke and here's Sakura. He would throw the bells to both of them, and Kakashi would be like, when did you? And Naruto would say, I told you I was going to take those bells from you, but I didn't tell you when I was going to take those bells from you. I just wanted to fight you and see what you were capable of. As we were fighting and scuffling around, I managed to just snag the bells and put them in my pocket until we got done fighting. Anyway, I guess I'm the one that's supposed to go back to the academy, even though it wasn't much teamwork here at all with my 2 teammates. I still want them to proceed. I can try again another year. And Naruto starts to walk off with Kakashi saying, no. You all pass. All 3 of you pass. So Naruto would jump for joy with all the team jumping for joy, but this is where something would intrigue in Sasuke, as he would wonder, how did Naruto get this strong? How is Naruto this powerful? And now we cut to the part where the D-rank missions just go as normal as they did in canon, but now we cut to the part where Naruto basically teleports inside of the Hokage's office, and this is time he says, old man, you really know what I'm capable of, right? And he says, yes. And why are you giving me D-rank missions? Well, Naruto, I want to give you experience. And Naruto says, blah, blah, blah. Experience what? Listen, old man, when I was a baby, from the stories that you told me, I was able to kick you through walls. Do you think D-rank missions are going to do anything for me? And this is where Naruto would basically say, I beat Guy Sensei. I beat Kakashi Sensei in a fight. And I was only using 25% against him. I was using 30% against Might Guy. So, are you really saying that my skills are not available for S rank or an A rank mission? And this is where he would say, okay, Naruto, you've proven your point. I will give you just this one mission. If you can prove it to be a success, then I will start giving you and your squad A rank and S rank missions. If you can escort this man safely to the land of waves, then I will happily assign your team to better missions. So Tazuna would come in, and this is where a drunken Tazuna with Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi basically just now entering the room. And this is where he would scold the team and saying, so these weaklings, they are my protectors. And Naruto would walk up to Tazuna and say, what do you mean by that? We can easily protect you even though we're kids. And Tazuna would say, what can you do, runt? And as exaggerated that it might be, don't blame me for this, but Naruto would basically float in midair and pick Tazuna up by his ankle and hang him upside down and say, "You were saying?" And look at Tazuna. Now, he would drop Tazuna on his head, and this is where Naruto would float back down to the ground and say, "Trash like you shouldn't talk about us like that when you just underestimated my whole squad. You don't even know what kind of power and what we are capable of, what we can do. So before you judge someone, basically study first. Anyway, let's get ready to go on the mission, I suppose." So they get ready to go on the mission. Naruto packs his stuff and everything, and they get ready. As they're walking, Naruto notices a puddle. And immediately Naruto knows this is a Genjutsu. So Naruto just flexes his hand and says, "Hey everyone, stop." So when Naruto like points his hand at the portal, that puddle, the two Chunin brothers burst out and charge at Naruto because they basically been snuffed out. Their position was exposed. So now they're trying to basically take out Naruto, and Naruto smiles at this, basically kicking both of them in the face with two fast kicks as they both fall to the ground, spitting out blood. Naruto looks at them and saying, "Wow, you two didn't see that coming?" Ha! Anybody would have seen that coming, as Naruto jokes and gags, but he's now laughing at them, and then he holds two of the Chunin brothers up by their shirts and tells them, so, as he's floating off the ground, because Naruto's still a little and they was taller than him, but he tells them, "So, what were you planning to do? I mean, it's obviously that you weren't planning to attack me. You probably was planning to attack that old man back there, weren't you? I think this mission has possibly more to it than we thought, as these two are tuning, but it looks like they're assassins too. I guess they were hired by someone. And who would that be?" As Naruto's looking at them, the Chunin brothers was in silence as Naruto just said, "This is a waste of time," and knocks both of them out, sending them to the ground. Naruto floats back to the ground and walks over to Tazuna and asks him, "So, come clean, old man." This is where Tazuna would say that he didn't have enough money to pay for a B ranked or A ranked mission, but this excites Naruto. Naruto's ki flares and he grits his teeth and he says, "So, this is possibly what kind of mission here?" And Tazuna says, "It has to be like an A ranked mission." And this is where Naruto gets excited, his muscles tense, his body flexes, and he says, "Yes! So my skills aren't being trashed. Okay, now I have to prove this to that old man back at the village." So they would continue on to their journey, but this time the mist would close in and they would see a sword come flying at them. Now everyone would duck, and this would basically intrigue Naruto, but Naruto would catch this sword and basically clank it into the ground. And he would gather up the air in his lungs and basically blow all the mist away, basically knocking Zabuza off the tree that he was or wherever he was hiding at. Zabuza would come falling to the ground, and Naruto would look at him and say, "So, what was your plan? You threw the sword. What were you gonna do with it? And this is a big sword. How do you manage to swing this big thing around? You don't need something like this. You should just use your hands, dude." And Goku says "dude." So if you find that cringy, then look it up. But he says that word, so I'm going to use it. Anyway, so basically Naruto would be trash talking Zabuza, and Zabuza would say, "This kid think he can trash talk me? He thinks he all that." So Zabuza would rush at Naruto and try to basically deliver a punch or try to get his sword back, but Naruto basically would dodge it and kick Zabuza dead in the face. And Zabuza would be tumbling away and get back up to his get back up to his feet, and his nose would tickle blood. And this is where Naruto would say, "Hey, do you know your nose is bleeding? You should clean yourself off. You're a disgrace to the ninja world. Your skills are getting bested by a 12-year-old boy. I know you must feel bad right now, don't you?" And Zabuza would just crack his knuckles and run at Naruto. I mean, this kid is actually getting under his skin. He's pissing Zabuza off. And Zabuza can't manage to land a hit on him, while Naruto's just basically saying, "You're too slow. You're not going to hit me." Zabuza would do a water dragon jutsu only for Naruto to do a big bang attack and throw it at Zabuza. Now, Zabuza would take the blunt force of this attack, and now he's battle damaged barely even standing and coughing up blood. I mean, this hurt him badly. And Zabuza would be like, how does this kid got this much power? And Naruto would say, oh, I could have killed you there with that attack. You know that, right? I could have basically disintegrated your body into nothing with that attack. You are one lucky person to be alive. You're lucky I held back. You're so weak that I didn't want to kill you. So, what are you attacking us for, and who are you? This is where Zabuza would basically just, like, before he would say anything, two Senbon would fly into his neck, and they would see an Anbu there, and the same thing would happen in the original canon. Zabuza would get taken away with Naruto not thinking anything of it, but I think Naruto would sense some malice from this guy, but he wouldn't pay anything of it, as he would just say, neither one of them could beat me, so even if that person would try anything, Naruto would be like, so if I have to fight both of these guys right here, right now, I will. Naruto would float back down to the ground, and this is where he would look at his team and say, can we continue on with the mission? And that is all I have for you guys for today. So I hope you guys like this part. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me what you think of it. Do you want a part 2? Do you want to see more of it? Anyway, without any further ado, you guys have a good day, a good night, and plus ultra. Good night, guys.